Where are we at?
Well, we're in Studio Eat, the official drywall studio. We're sitting in the midst of about $5,000 of equipment and stuff.
The David Blue, drywall pioneer, extraordinary person, craftsman, artist, buzzword. How are you? Today is February 27th.
That's a lie. I'm doing good. Pretty hungry.
Children of the Corn 30. With the finished product, what do you feel like you're giving to your audience here, your studio audience?
Giving to my audience. I mean, drywall gives nothing. As an organization, drywall takes. And only takes. I feel like I make my viewers aware of that, that they're simply there's going to be loss in their viewing of my content rather than gain. I think that's pretty blatant.
So you're losing nanoseconds of your existence when you're watching Children of the Corn 30.
Definitely, you're losing a lot of your time. I mean, we all hear about opportunity cost. You know, opportunity cost is a big thing. It makes the world turn. Opportunity cost is something that you and I deal with every day, and that's what I have to say about opportunity costs.
There's a pretty big cost on Children of the Corn 30. This is a pretty big budget film. How much did you put into this?
I mean, at this point, we're looking at about a $2.5 million shooting budget.
$2.5 million. Did you have a full cast, crew, mastering, video editing, professionals?
I mean, it's just an estimate at this point. It's just we're still in pre-production here, but yeah, it's going to be about $2.5 million. $2.5 million movie. It's pretty cheap as far as Hollywood movies goes. It's not anything drastic.
How many Ferraris are going to be wrecked in Children of the Corn 30?
What we did was we actually, for all the chase scenes, we requested 2 Californias and 3 458 Italias with the understanding that we wouldn't break them in any way, or they would essentially be treated as press cars or loaner cars. And so far we've completely wrecked 1 458 Italia. We just actually blew up a California, and yesterday in the midst of filming a chase scene, we really did a number on the undercarriage of another 458. So I mean, Ferrari has no idea what we're doing, but we are essentially destroying the cars that they gave us, and we are breaking their contract.
So we're talking multi-million-dollar cars being destroyed for Children of the Corn 30.
Yeah.
Sports cars being wrecked.
I mean, it's I think that authenticity is something that we struggle with a lot in modern society, and it's something that with the rebirth of like the Marvel comics, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the premiere is today, I think, which is the new show by Marvel, but we're struggling to find authenticity in our daily lives, and it's a weird boundary. And what I just said is pretty much how I justified to Ferrari getting their cars. I mean, we basically conned them, but that's really a drywall thing now. It's not something that you're surprised by. Insurance fraud has become core activity of drywall. It's definitely something that's at the heart of everything we do, is fraud, theft, destruction of public property.
So no way legitimate, but plenty authentic.
Yeah.
The drywall way.
Yeah, I mean, it's very authentic. I think there's something very authentic about lying. There's something very authentic and very human about the process of stealing other people's property. It's just another aspect of humanity, and I have just chosen to display it. It's maybe it's ironic, maybe it's all a big joke, but it's definitely a commentary on what we are as human beings, and it's just one of the things that one of the reasons why I make drywall is to show us the little piece of drywall in ourselves, and we all have it, and we're all struggling to get those pieces out in ourselves of different things, and those pieces are part of our authenticity. So you can think of drywall like a Marvel comic. You can think of drywall like a retro franchise coming back, except there's nothing really retro about it, but it's definitely that same sort of mood, that same sort of authentic feeling. And in the same way, it is very anti-retro, it's very anti-authenticity, but that anti-authenticity has an authenticity in itself. And that's why drywall is so popular within the indie movement. I mean, it's just the extreme authenticity.
So the same people who are going to go see Batman Arkham 3 are going to go see Children of the Corn 30.
Absolutely. Christopher Nolan is a personal friend of mine, and we've talked a lot about filmmaking. Christopher Nolan, he takes my kids to school. He's not, number one friend. He's probably number 4.
He's kind of like low on the friend tier.
No, I mean, he's up there. He's like number 4. I think that Christopher Nolan, at this very moment, he's probably number 4. That'd be a pretty solid answer I could give. But he and I, we agree very much on our principles of film. And his influence actually is on me has come out a lot through Children of the Corn 30, and I think anyone who enjoys a Nolan film will enjoy a Blue or Drywall film.
Children of the Corn 30. We've got a really stellar cast. We've got Paul Walker, Alan Ruck, Morgan Jackson,
Yep.
and Bernie Green all on set. What was it like working with such talent? What did they mess up? Did they get your artistic vision right?
Well, I mean, Alan Ruck was not who I thought he was. I mean, Alan Ruck was someone that I was a major fan of as a kid. I mean, I used to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off over and over again. I'd like to count Ferris Bueller's Day Off as one of my major influences on drywall content. But Alan Ruck is someone who's become a personal friend, but he's like that friend that you invite over and they immediately commit arson on your house, or that friend that gets you in trouble with the police almost every time you see them. That friend that is an extreme risk to you. And so Alan Ruck kind of brought his personality onto the set, and he's cost us a lot of money, not just in his salary, but in destruction of equipment and lawsuits. But Alan Ruck's authenticity is irreplaceable. His friendship is irreplaceable. So I knew that I had to have him on set. However, him and Morgan Jackson don't particularly get along all that well. Morgan essentially spends most of his time laughing at his own jokes, laughing at his voiceovers. He spends a lot of time on Vine, and it's just, we filmed a scene a few weeks ago in which Morgan wasn't actually involved. He was just on the set eating the food, and it was an intense interpersonal scene with a lot of dialogue. We were getting the audio, and there was this amazing performance by Paul Walker as he was sort of describing his life as a child, his character's life, of course. And Paul Walker, I mean, he delivered an amazing performance. It was just perfect acting. We went in the sound later, and we kept hearing Marcus Johns saying, "Sometimes I just don't care," in the background. And we were trying to figure this out. I mean, is this a joke? Is this a prank by one of the sound guys? Is this whatever, it's something wrong. And then we later found out that Morgan was watching Vine videos during shooting, full volume on his iPhone, and I mean, it ruined the shot, it ruined the audio, and we're gonna have to go back and redub that audio, and we'll never get that audio again. We'll never get the true scene from that again. But I could complain about having the big stars around all day and their special needs. It's a big task handling them all, but their authenticity is just irreplaceable. It's just their presence is just not, it's nothing. You can get it anywhere else.
Ruski Sunshine probably wasn't as much of a problem on the set, was he?
Ruski was someone that we had to be wary of. There's a certain amount of distance that you want to keep from Ruski's personal life.
He's a total fucking creep.
He is a pedophile, so we need to keep some distance from him as our image, but he's also extremely valuable as an asset to the movie, and he's just so authentic. His authenticity is irreplaceable. He's pretty great to have on set. He makes a lot of jokes. I mean, he makes a lot of rape jokes. We've got some flack for that. There was a popular video recorded on or put on YouTube it's just the audio of Ruski going off on some. I think he was setting up. He was helping us set up the set, like an on location, just extra hands, and this kid was just terrified. It's gotten us into a little bit of legal trouble with the kid's parents, but we have good lawyers. I mean, we have the full backing of Time Warner, so we have the best lawyers in the world, and that was quickly flattened out, and we could get on to focusing on the production of the movie. But just little setbacks.
You just threw money at it, and the problem went away.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, when you need to work with a pedophile, and when you have something that's in the public light as much as a movie like this, then you have to be wary of the effects, and he is interested in having sex with minors, regardless of whether it's consensual or not, and that is generally not accepted in society. So it's just something to be wary of, just like everything else, just like Morgan's vining and his obsession with vines, just like Paul's obsession with himself I mean, it's just, everyday things that we deal with. But it's totally worth it. I mean, the product, when I see my own films on screen, all that stuff just sort of melts away, and I just think about how authentic everything I do is, and just the amount of creativity and authenticity that I'm putting out into the art world, and I mean, I just can't replace it. It's totally worth it.
Children of the Corn 30, most artful scam you will ever see.
Definitely. We've done it so much. We've scammed and conned our way through the industry, and we've done it so much that it is in itself art. It really is, and people come out to see it. I mean, I would not be surprised if one day there is a drywall fraud, con, and scamming museum, and we charge people and we steal their credit card information at the gate, and it's just sort of like it's art in itself. It's very, very metacognitive.
So we're talking 2047, there's a drywall convention where people just scam each other, commit fraud, and throw money around like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening.
The dollars are as plentiful as the corn in Iowa.
That is definitely true. I mean, the money is there to be made. Drywall is a money-making organization, and it's gonna happen. We're gonna make money. I'm riding drywall all the way to the top.
Has your blood type ever been a problem for you, being a G negative?
The anti-blood type oppression movement is something that I actually one time was very passionate about as a teenager. I mean, this doesn't really affect me so much anymore because I just have so much money. But you definitely need to check your O negative privilege. I mean, you need to be very aware of what you say. You need to be very aware that you having that blood type, it automatically gives you a place in society that puts you in an advantage everyone else. It's not fair, but one way that you can make it better is to just be aware of it and simply think about it every day. Buy an O-type critical calendar. Be sure to question yourself. You want the dialogue to sound something like this on your daily basis. That guy looks like he's got a G negative blood type. Being that I am O negative, I need to stay away. I need to make sure that he knows that I'm not a threat, because inherently I'm a threat. That kind of dialogue needs to just happen. You need to be thinking about yourself all the time, 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 thinking about yourself all the time. Be aware that you are O negative.
So you need to be aware that you are ashamed of being alive at all times.
Being O negative.
Being alive, having a place, that's just unfair.
Yeah, I mean, you were born with O negative blood. No, it's not something you can control, and neither is your place in the hierarchies of society, and you are immediately higher than someone like me. You need to be very aware of it. You need to think about it a lot. You just check your O negative privilege.
So, to the stockbrokers out there, how many figures are you going to be pulling in with this Children of the Corn 30 nationwide premiere?
I mean, I'm not a market expert. I'm not an expert on film. I try to stay away from the people who know things about film. I try to stay away from people who, pretend to define film. Any of the film critics on free blogging websites, especially those that are sort of, aware of what they're doing, very self-aware. Those people are people who really know about films, and they would have to give you the right answer to that. I mean, you don't want to listen to anybody in the mainstream media, because simply they're just not indie enough. They haven't caught up. They're not at the same level of independence that we are. We're so independent. I mean, we're just
You're on like a whole other plane of existence from the other.
Definitely. Jesus, yes. Like, think about. I can't compare myself, because I'm just more independent, more indie than any other name that comes to mind. And that itself, that's what people want. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing it to get the highest numbers possible, and I mean, I think I'm very good at it. I'm very good at getting money from the public for my creative works. So I can't give you a number. I'm not a market analyst.
Everyone, David Blue, Drywall, extraordinaire. Thank you for coming to Studio Eat for the cast interview, Children of the Corn 30. Do you have any other words you'd like to say to your fans? Just follow us on Twitter. Be sure to donate at drywall.ws.
every bit of money that you give will help me live a better lifestyle. So just be sure to give as much money as possible. We're also, as I've announced on the official Drywall channel a few days ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 days, we're working with Kev Jumba now, and through Kev Jumba's connections, so like the same people that are doing Jumba Fund, all of the drywall proceeds will be going to cancer. So that's big. To my fans, I would just have to say, keep buying. I mean, just keep following us. Keep up with the brand. Keep watching our videos, and you will be happy. It's just, just a small percent of your income will make you happy. So just give, donate, and buy.
Fantastic message, Mr. Blue. Fantastic message. I wish more indie developers had a work ethic like you.
It's definitely the money, man. It's all about the money. The money is what makes the product good. And we're very excited. We're very excited to see Children of the Corn 30. So.
You're a fucking prick.